Page 24, Orientale. I guess that's how you pronounce it, I'm not sure. It's a very famous melody. It's an orchestra piece, but it's a nice arrangement of it. In this lesson, they're introducing you to what they call a broken chord mark. I've never heard it called that before, but okay, it's fine. It's the little wavy line. You'll see it in front of the left hand or the bottom staff. The half note at the beginning of this, there's a little wavy line in front of that chord. That's what they're talking about. I'll talk about that when I do the articulation. I do all of the wavy chord stuff and all that's in the articulation part of the process. You can do it whenever, but I do it then. So I look it over, it's 2 pages long. It's actually longer than that because we got repeat signs and whatnot. But there's 2 pages of music to learn. At the beginning, it's treble and treble clef. They're both treble clefs, so you always check the clef signs because there's no guarantee. There's 2 flats in the key signature, so we are in the key of G minor. G minor has 2 flats. Go ahead and do the scale for G minor. If you're not doing it, try doing it now. 1 octave is fine if you don't know the scale. I have videos on it. 3/4 time signature. Let's do it one hand at a time so we know what each hand is doing. The right hand starts with 5th finger on D. That puts the hand here. And the B flat is part of the hand position because there's a B flat in the key signature, so it's here. For the C sharp, when I get there, I'm just going to take this note on a finger on C and I'm going to move it to the C sharp when I need it, if possible. That doesn't always work, but that's what we'll start with. It's 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and tie. 1, 2. The measure 9, you cross under, similar to a scale. Measure 13. It's a repeated note, so just go ahead and lift up. Now that is a C natural there. Go down to measure 19. They want you ending on a thumb on measure 19. Well, let's go back to the second ending. This is measure 17. We're here. And they want a thumb. That has to be an error. There absolutely is no way you're going to end on a thumb on a black key like that. I don't want a thumb there. Even though you got 2 beats of rest, you got plenty of time to come down here. I want to feel this as I'm going through it. So I don't want thumb here because then this is a stretch. I can do it because I'm good. But this, I don't want to do that. I want some other finger on that dotted half note. So what I'm going to do, since the B flat is a repeated note. The last note in measure 18 is a B flat, and then measure 19 is another B flat. I can change hand positions there. So remember these black keys. Now watch out. You have a B flat, it's in the key signature. And an A flat's in the key signature. And then here. And then for the next, the B flat D, you can do a 1-2 if your hand will fit up here. If it doesn't, you got to come down to a 2-4. So it's here. I don't know how big your hands are, is the problem. And then for the last one, I recommend a 2-5, not a 1-5. Here. Oh, so you are moving around a bit. These are getting a little trickier. Left hand is doing totally different stuff, so let's see what it's doing. You have the G minor chord. Measure 6, you go up to an E flat. If you don't want to come up in here, then change that to a 5-4-2. So it's going to be. You can do that. And then for measure 9, it's here. It's a C. So there's a difference between measure 6, that's here, and measure 9 has got a C. So be careful. Measure 13, you're here, and then measure 14, go ahead and use thumb again, that's fine. And now you can use 3. It's a repeated note. This sets us up, so here. Now, second ending, measure 17. Now we're up here. That's okay. You can go ahead and use thumb again if you want, because they're all black keys. If you don't want to use thumb again, then you need to use third finger for measure 17 here. That way you can use second finger if you want, and then here. Or here, here, here. Either fingering works. Now, I recommend for measure 21, rather than 4-1, you do a 5-2. This way we're set up for here, here. And then a B flat, E flat, and then use thumb again, just come out. Just kind of sliding off. You will notice, I haven't pointed it out, hopefully you noticed, that the clef sign keeps changing from treble to bass, treble to bass. I'm hoping that you keep up. I haven't pointed it out every time. We are in bass clef here. Because in the last two measures on the page, measure 29, excuse me, you're in treble clef again. C, E flat, F. And then measure 31, A. And they want, just this is fine. And then measure 35. And I would suggest maybe you finger that half note, measure 35, either a 5-3-2 or a 5-4-2. Save the thumb for the D coming up. So you're coming, for the measure before you were here, do a 5-3-1. Your thumb's ready. Now if you want to prepare for measure 37, we need thumb again here. So on those D's in measure 36, rather than thumb, I'm going to use second finger on the last one. This way I'm ready to go on. And then measure 38. What is this mess? Well, spell out the chord. There's just one note at a time. Start at the bottom and work it out. We have that sharp sign. Is that in front of the space or the line? Well, if the line goes through the middle of the sharp sign, it's on the line. And in this case, it does. So it's a G, an A sharp, and an E natural. So we went from 37 here to here. Actually, the bottom note stayed the same and the others just went down a half step. Back to that again. Measure 45, G, A, E flat. This fun. I'm not going to point out all the notes. Hopefully by now you can read these notes okay. If you don't know the names of these notes instantly, you're going way too fast. You need to go back to the first book and go through it again. You're digging yourself a hole if you keep going. The last few measures of the dotted half notes at the bottom were here, and then down here, same notes down here, and then the last one, same notes, but now it's treble clef, it's up here. So once I get the hands worked out and the fingering worked out for each hand separately, then I try and put them together and see, and sometimes I have to change the fingering again. But we'll see how it works first. And I'll hesitate, that's fine, I don't care. I just want to know how they work together. Here. Now you have to be careful because sometimes the music won't sound right. Is that what? Well, you go back and check the notes again if that's the case. Let's look at measure 37. We're here. That's fine. Then here. So far. And here. See, that sounds way off. I said, what? Well, it's not my fault. He did it. But that's it. And that E naturals there in measure 41 don't sound right, but that's what's there. Check the notes out. Sometimes. They could be wrong, but in this case, that's just the way it's written. Now the last little bit, the dotted half notes at the bottom. You're moving both hands. You're going from here here to here. There's an 8VA above the staff in the top, so the notes are here, but you're up here. You're here. So you're moving around, both hands at the same time. You have to look down, and this takes practice because you want all the notes to go down at once, here. Same time. Just lower the hand, let the wrist collapse a little bit, relax. And down here, you got to figure out where the notes are and get your hands in position, but it's got to happen fairly quickly. And then up here, so you got to know where you're going. That takes a little practice. The pedal will help, but we don't want to rely on pedal any more than we have to. So I'm not going to play this way and then come down here because the pedal will carry it out. In my opinion, that's poor technique. You need to keep the hands here as long as you can, and then move when you need to. There. Now once I have the hands together, then I'll go back over in pieces, just a little bit at a time, and work out the hesitations. You just take it a line or two at a time, and focus on just a line or two at a time. Don't keep playing at all. That's really a waste of time. You play it all after you get the hesitations worked out. And once the hesitations are gone, then I'll think about the articulation and these wiggly lines. At the beginning, we have these. Simply means you're going to play it as an arpeggiated chord, a rolled chord. It is not rhythmic, it's just boom, and one note at a time, starting at the bottom, and you hold them down. And normally, I play the bottom note on the beat. That's how I was taught. A lot of people always play the top note on the beat, but I was taught in college, no, it's the bottom note goes on the beat. However, when it's at the beginning of a piece like this, you can actually play this like a pickup beat, and all four notes together. I play the top note on the beat. So these are just pickup. But after that, I'm going to play them on the beat. And then we have staccato, short, hands at the wrist, short crumb. But the right hand is legato. Say legato throughout. But I'm going to connect the right hand, but I'm staccato on the left hand. And then on measure 3, I'm playing the bottom note on the beat. Those together. And all of these happen before the A. Like so. And that's basically the articulation throughout. Now once I have an idea of the articulation, then I'll think about the dynamics. And by the way, as you're doing the articulation and so forth, it's easy for these hesitations to come back or new hesitations to crop up. It's really, really important that you get rid of them immediately. Don't keep going with a hesitation, thinking you'll fix it later. It doesn't work. Stop and fix the hesitation every time they come around. Then the dynamics will apply to the melody, which is the right hand. MP, mezzo, piano, whatever you think sort of soft is. This has to be soft or very soft in the background. I don't see any more dynamics until you get to 49, measure 49, and now it's MF. Go up a little bit to moderately loud. Molto means a whole lot. The problem is you don't need a molto fortissimo. Fortissimo is already a whole lot. So I wouldn't add insult to injury here. Just do it very loud. You're moderately loud, 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 loud. That's like the climax of the piece. The left hand can get a little louder, but keep it out of the way. Come down, about a moderately loud, then soft. And at the end, very soft is both hands here. These are just chords. There's no melody, so it's just chords, and that PPP at the end is extremely soft. Try and do it without the soft pedal. Just, you're very light, you're stroking, it just comes down gently. You're not coming straight down. You're coming down at a bit of an angle here. And try to get all the notes down at the same time. It's tricky. This is one of the things you can practice when you're practicing the scale. How soft can you play the scale? If you get in the habit of really light, very light when doing the scales, as well as loud, you need to do it all. But that helps when you get it in pieces like this. If you use the soft pedal, and some teachers will say, yeah, if it's 3 Ps, use the soft pedal. If you have an upright, fine, it might work okay, but on a grand piano, it changes the tone. We don't want to change the tone unless that's really the tone we want. And here, all we want is really soft. I don't want to change the tone. So I would not recommend using a soft pedal. If you get to the point where you rely on the soft pedal because you're using an upright, I can get away with it. I can just do it. And if you ever happen to be playing a grand piano, you might have a problem. So just don't use a soft pedal if you can help it, unless you want to change the tone. Now, as far as the speed goes, this is about where I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1. Just throughout the whole thing. Now they've added pedal, and we certainly need pedal on this. We need it to sustain our notes, to add color to the longer notes, and at the end to help us connect the notes. But we don't want to smear the melody. So when I start that, I start with whatever the pedal suggestions are in the music, and they're only suggestions. We'll use those first, and we'll see, is that the sound I want? If it is, fine. If it isn't, I'll change it. I usually change it. So at the beginning, I'm going to push the pedal down immediately after I play that first note here and hold it down. But I lose the staccato if I have the pedal down. If that's okay, fine. If you like that, it's kind of nice having the overtones and smearing in one measure, but not the next, and you're just kind of going back and forth. So I have them here, and then not. That's a nice effect, and that works that way. That's the way it's written. Measure, what, 17, second ending, the whole thing. If you don't mind that, that's fine. I do not like that at all. No. So I don't want to smear it. I want that clean. However, I want to connect the chords. I need the pedal for that. That's one of the things we use pedal for, to connect chords. So what I'm going to do is use what's known as a legato pedal technique, where I'm only going to push the pedal down long enough to connect the chords. It's like the last note in the right hand. When I play that, I push the pedal down, the last note in each measure, and then lift it up right after I play the chord. That's here. That way I connect this. I connect the chords, and that's what I'm after. So that's what I'm recommending. It's a little tricky, but it comes in handy. So just push the pedal down long enough, or push it down with the last note in the measure in the right hand. And same thing on the next line and the next line. I don't want to smear the melody. That's just yuck. So again, I'm only going to push the pedal down long enough to connect the chords. I'm going to push it down with the last note in each measure in the right hand. Next line, same thing. It connects the chords. And going on, same thing. I don't want to smear the melody, so I'm only using the pedal to connect the chords. And on measure 30, if you want to connect those repeated C's, you can go ahead and pedal that measure. Measure 33 here and push it down to here, push it down here and then up. It lets me connect the left hand. So starting at measure 31, I'm here. So you can use the pedal to connect repeated notes if you want to connect them, and you use the pedal to connect the chords. But don't pedal all these. Don't pedal all that. It just smears up the melody. It sounds terrible. It's not the style of the piece. It's not the atmosphere of this. Now when you get down to the bottom, it's a measure of about 34. You're here. And there's just two notes there, but they're still rolled. I see no reason to pedal that. At measure 35, or 55, excuse me. I see no reason to pedal that. Because I don't want to smear this. No, just don't pedal that at all. At the end, the dotted half notes, you pedal those, the whole thing, push the notes down, then the pedal, and leave it down for the whole thing, all the way to the end. When you're catching all that sound, and then at the end, the hands and the pedal come up together. And that's my impression of the pedal. Now you have to listen carefully, and it depends on what your teachers tell you. You do what your teacher tells you to do. Some teachers say, just pedal it the way it's shown. And that's very unfortunate, in my opinion, because you're hearing junk, and I'd rather not. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do any louds and softs, but I will do the staccatos. I'm going to do the pedal like I suggested. And remember, we have a first and second ending. So whenever you get to the third line and the repeat sign, you go back to the beginning and do the first two lines again, and then skip the first ending because you've done it once. That's it. Go directly to the second ending and keep going. Yeah. So the piece is really a couple lines longer than it looks. I'll give us 3 counts. 1, ready, go. 1, 2. Repeat. Second ending. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, rest, rest.